Welcome to the first episode of my coaching series. I'm going to analyze every mistake I made in the preseason cup, and it's important to watch the whole video as you may have made one of the mistakes I made, and I'll be explaining how to fix those mistakes so they don't happen again. There is timestamps below, so if you want to skip over to your weak point, feel free to do so, and let me know in the comments where your weak points are. So like off spawn, mid game, late game. This way I know what type of content to make so I can help you even more. Let's get started. So starting off, I would say mistake number one that we made just starting off before we even loaded into a game was that we did not have a planned drop spot. Now I'm not going to talk too much about this. You know that we come with all the drop spot information. We do the POI breakdown series and we just generally put out good drop spots. So I'm not going to talk too much about drop spots because I'm pretty sure we're all fed up with them at this point. But again, we did not have a signed drop spot or a few assigned drop spots. We just kind of landed where it looked good, and that's very wrong in a tournament. But you know, I guess we all have a good bit of knowledge of what that drop spot was like from landing there previously, so we were able to use our information that we've gathered over the last few seasons and actually get some good loot and outplay our opponents. So for example, we actually had a game at 𝗘𝗃𝗏𝘃 Stronghold where we landed and we got contested. And you know, when you land 𝗘𝗃𝗏𝗃 Stronghold, the main building that gets landed is either the IO place, the turret, or you know, the ancient ruin kind of building that are all in the center beside the pad. But I seen everybody landing there. We had 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝘀, which was playing the tournament with me, and we had 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝘆, and they all landed in there and got contested by a trio. But I kind of used that kind of, you know, like when you have that moment of just godness where you see a play and you do the play and it's like, oh shit, I seen the future in my brain, and then I actually did it. That's what happened to me. And I seen one grey AOR beside, I guess, a few bits of AOR ammo, and I picked it up. And I had such a window because they're so tunnel visioned on the fight, and I have a kind of angle from the side. I am literally just beaming people from the side, and it was completely overpowered. I actually hopped in and killed all three players. Now I'm not taking all credit for that. You know, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝘏 did a shit ton of damage, and he probably kept the fort going as long as he could. We got 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝘏 back in the game. We got a shit ton of loot. I actually think I came out of there with a purple charge or a lever or something like that I side graded later that game. It was just all around very overpowered and a very good start to a game, but there was mistakes there. The mistakes being that we did not know that drop spot would be contested, and if we did, we could have landed other places within the POI. Not everything has to be in that kind of main area, but I'm just noting that the thing I did right was to grab that AOR, knowing that my strong suit and my great playstyle, my absolute ace of spades in that, I guess, scenario was me being able to hit my AOR shots and knowing that I was really good with my AOR. So that's one mistake we made off spawn. Another mistake was when we landed down at Camp Cod. Camp Cod is a great drop spot, don't get me wrong. My boy 𝗪𝗔 lands there in tournaments, bro. I'm exposing your drop spot, bro. It's a really good drop spot. I landed there actually to test it out because he was telling me it's really good. But, you know, down there, it's like when you get a coral castle pull for first zone and you're down the very bottom right corner of the map, it's so hard to rotate all the way up there, especially when you've got places like Lazy Lake, Retail Row, and Caddy Corner all around you, and they're all rotating the same direction. You're going to end up in a storm fight. And not to mention the very hard thing that if you get zoned down there, okay, if you do land there just in general, I know it's a popular spot. If you land there, be careful because people tend to use the pads from the IO base up on the mountain and come down and grief you. Like off spawn, someone hopped on that turret while we were gliding and almost griefed their whole game. If they knock one of you guys from up on that mountain, they're going to push instantly and they're going to have better loot than you because of the IO chests. And they're going to be way higher in shield. But again, another great thing about that drop spot is the fact that you've got the full-on blue Kevin the Cube thing that gives you so much free shield. Like, you don't even need shield, and you've got all the fishing spots. But look, I'm not talking about drop spots. We're going to move on and talk about mid-game, okay? There was a few mistakes we made. I pointed them out. Let's talk about mid-game. So for mid-game, we actually did okay throughout the tournament. There was a few mistakes, and most of our mistakes throughout the tournament came from mid-game. For example, we tend to get split a lot. So what happened in one of the games was me and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝘏𝘏 were rotating ahead, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝘏 was actually drifting at the back, and he got shot at, and he turned around and started fighting them. And that was kind of a big scuff moment in the tournament because 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝘏𝘏 then went back to help 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and fight a 1v3s to make it a 2v3. Then I slightly turned around, and then 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝘏 died as I turned around to go and help. And I said, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, it's not a good fight. It's a 2v3, and they have an ego boost because they just knocked one of our players. So we need to dip. So he used that pad, and that pad would have came in clutch endgame. And, you know, we didn't have it anymore. We ended up making it to endgame. And just letting you know, it's not just 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 that made mistakes this game. This was just a big scuff for all of us. So going towards endgame, I think this was game 3, but going towards endgame, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, the same game by the way, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 then fell off high ground and got scuffed because a whole other team just dropped him in his box. So that left me as a solo. And then me having the most time to rotate. Like, literally, we got half and half. I had high ground. All I needed to do was pad early. I decided to wait and let everybody rotate in front of me, box up, and let them establish high ground. I don't want high ground in a trio tournament as a solo. It's literally not going to work out for me. So I padded late, just trying to take somewhere low ground or mid ground. So I padded late and got beamed out of the sky, and literally just like that, the tournament was over. That game was over. That potential winner was over. Then fast forward into another game, and what ended up actually happening was we actually made it to Endgame, and we actually popped off. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a little transition right now, and I'm going to go into an 𝗬𝗏𝗏 style video where I'm just talking over the gameplay, pointing out my mistakes. You boys will love this, so I'm going to do that right now. I will see you on that scene. Okay, boys, so Endgame has just begun, and we're actually in the highest position in the map. We're on nice high ground right now, and it's free. Nobody's contesting us, and we're going for a few beams. This is the whole agenda when we have high ground, is to grief everybody. What I'm actually doing here right now is lowering my sensitivity, my ADS sensitivity. I feel like I have the ability, and a lot of people do, but they just don't do it, is to change your sensitivity on the fly. I know that I need to be more precise endgame than like spawn. You know, I need to be able to pull people out of the air. Now you can see my crosshair is literally glued to people. I'm not quite timing the shots right, but it's more my sensitivity, so I'm not over flicking. It's a thing I don't terribly recommend to do, but if you have, I guess, an ability to do it, do it. You know, it's just like, I know I'm gifted with my aim, so take advantage of it and lower my sensitivity to hit more shots. Works out in the tournament, as you see going on. I crack up multiple people and we get multiple kills from it. So again, we're just looking around, seeing who we can damage, you know, seeing who we can piss off, basically. Like, even just, I hit him like 80, just casual 80, you know, it's just like, it's a grief, bro. It's ruining his game. There's a crack on him. And when I crack him, the whole lobby's going to focus him when they hit him again and realize he's white. So I might not get the kill, but I ruin his game. And I, you know, by griefing players, you're slowly kind of making sure more people get killed. Like, if I crack somebody's shields and somebody sees that, they're going to beam him. They're going to key his box if he's a solo, which means we're going to get an extra placement point, or closer to an extra placement point. What I'm doing actually right now on screen is I am looking behind us. Because of the way zone pulled, I'm like, there's so much area behind us that there's got to be a team, right? But I'm just making sure, because if another team just ramps up behind us, our high ground's gone, we're scuffed. So again, it's just like, this whole part of the end game is literally just trying to do beams, trying to do as much damage as we can. So there's not really much more to say. I'm looking at this metal here, because just everybody's beaming it. Like, this team is beaming the metal. So I'm like, they have to be, like, they has to be a one shot. And then whoever that was that pinged, we know there's a team right beside us now in that bottom left, the brick box that I was just looking at. Again, there's 17 seconds, 16, 15 seconds left on the pull, so we're just waiting around really to see what pulls. Again, just trying to do little tags. We do know we have a lot of materials, so we can tarp. I feel like I got a sneeze right now, bro. Do you ever get that feeling? And then the sneeze just pisses off and leaves you, bro? What the hell? But yeah, look, we get pull, we get half and half, and we have high ground. And I make the call as the IGL to just tarp out a bit, because like, we might as well keep high ground and, you know, use a bit of maths. So I crack him up, and Watts gets the knock on him. Very clutch knock. What we actually end up doing is just spraying the shit out, and we literally tunnel vision that whole team. And the reason why I think we tunnel vision that whole team, not only just to get the free point from the kill and stop the res, and the fact that we have the ammo to do it, it's the fact that look at the angle that they have on us. They can beam us because we've got no walls there. Well, we focus this way. Look, when we look around and focus the rest of the zone, that team in that right corner there can focus us. So they're the biggest threat to us. So we're focusing on our biggest threat. And not to mention, they can hold the whole lobby. And they can beam back because everybody's going to be pulling towards them. So we kind of want to stop them from peeking so we can get more of the kills. Again, just little pings. Everybody starts padding right now, so it's more so just, can we hit a few people, mess them up? This team that pads over my right shoulder here in a second, we get another knock off them. Here they are now. So yeah, just beaming them up, swapping to my SMG because I know I have to reload that AR. Actually didn't have to reload the AR, I don't know why I swapped. That's a little mistake. I crack him, Watts again gets the knock. Keep spraying for the finish. We get the finish. I got the assist. We're currently on 3 limbs right now. Again, just now I'm weary of this team below us that tried to beam us, because if they tried once, they'll try again. So just keeping an eye on them. looking for any more kills we can pick up, because why not? You know, we need those 3 points. We're holding high ground. Again, it's very important not to be over aggressive on high ground sometimes. Like, wait until the moving zones to be more aggressive, because everybody can beam up at us right now and scuff our whole game. And by the way, I shit myself when I seen the zone pull like that. Like, that's a very far pull for us. We have the mats to do it, but you'll see what happens. Like, it's basically, I scuffed the whole tournament. I scuffed this potential win we had. What I did was I go for a short pad, but the teammates can't get on the short pad. They weren't there with me to hit the short pad. So it was my fault for doing the short. There goes 𝗏𝗏𝗏. And whatever mats 𝗏𝗏𝗏 had, he had a lot of materials. So we lose his mats now. So that's on me, you know. I kind of scuffed us, because he could have had 300 or 400 extra mats, because he wasn't tarping the whole game. It was me. So I've already used all my mats and didn't siphon from 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So we just lost all our mats and a player. So now we basically can't take high ground. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 game goes. So we're trying to tarp in the right direction. I'm literally like trying to just build roofs because I don't want us to get beams. So roofs will do the job. He gave me his metal, so now he gave me 187 metal. And see the way he placed that ramp there? That ramp could have scuffed their whole game because it was bringing us up. We don't need to go up right now. We did not need to go up right in the middle. It's right here. And I'd say he probably did it and being used to doing a solo tarp. And boxing beside these was a big mistake. Again, bad decision on me. We should have went up one more layer. I just really was trying to conserve mats. But then again, you see it cost me. Now, see, the thing is with these two boys dead, the one thing that they did was they didn't stop talking. They kept giving me communication. So just because they're dead, it doesn't mean they can't do anything to help me win the game or try and, you know, clutch up as best as I can. And it's right here when Watts made the call that I've got 3 floppers. You know, I don't need to rotate yet. Eat those floppers. So I know I have no mats, and I'm going to let everybody go ahead of me. And I seen this kid here, and he padded. So I just went in, took the pad. Did not want anything to do with a kill. I should have landed on the bottom, on ultimate low. Because you'll see now, I get scuffed from my right. Because I can't, there's so much gunshots that I physically can't hear what's going on around me. It's literally borderline impossible for me to hear what's going on around me. So with that said, that is the end of the video. This video on screen will help you become even more of a demon. If you want to catch stuff like this live, make sure you go follow my Twitch, because we be doing live streams every second day over there. And if you're new, like I said, subscribe, like the video, man, and comment down below if you want more of these videos, because I would really like to know. And if you made it to this part of the video, you're a real one. Thank you so much. I'm gone.